Manchester United won. Wolves won. Terrible, terrible performance. Terrible result. We've blown it again. We've done it again. I don't really know what to say. You know, at halftime, I was a bit hopeful that we would sort of figure it out. You know, I don't know, get some type of an answer, get some sort of a response for the second half. You know, we had a result go our way today, and Chelsea dropped 2 points against Bournemouth. We had an opportunity to go to fifth. This was the fifth time that we've blown this opportunity to go higher than sixth, and higher than seventh, and higher than eighth, and actually go into a spot that, you know, would give us guaranteed European football. And we've blown it again, and this is the third time we've done it at home. So, you know, I'm a bit lost for words, but I'm not lost for words because I know what I'm going to say. But, I mean, let's try and start, I don't know, in a normal way before we get a little bit too crazy, because I know what's coming already anyway. So, but I mean, for me, number one, players absolutely diabolical today. My biggest one, Mateus Cunha, pissed me the absolute fuck off today. He absolutely pissed me off today. I think he was absolutely terrible. And I think you couldn't write a script better as to say, was this guy still playing for Wolves? Did he forget that he's wearing a fucking Manchester United kit and that he's not contracted to Wolves anymore? Because he was almost playing in a way that was so harmful to us and that was benefiting Wolves. So, you know, I don't know. It's not all his fault, but I mean, he was really bad today. Immensely disappointing for me, because I'm looking at him and I'm saying, you're one of the main guys we bought to change the attack. And, you know, there's no Bruno. There's no Mason Mount. There's no Mbeumo. There's no Diallo. I'm looking at you, Premier League experienced player, that we paid good money for to step up against your former team at home at Old Trafford. And he was fucking diabolical. So he was horrible. I mean, a lot of the team was horrible. There was a couple players that did okay. Not too many. You know, I think some of the questions that has to go to Ruben is, you know, I think we were all thinking Dorga was going to play on the right-hand side. I think what he did in the first half, he got it wrong in terms of the way he changed it. He obviously changed it because he was trying to go for Wolves. And Wolves played different to Newcastle. And the changes that he made, they obviously monumentally backfired because we just didn't have any sort of control. And we seemed to be a little bit all over the place. There seemed to be some sort of confusion. I was confused as to what I was looking at during the match, you know, in the first half. So, I mean, it was just really shit all around. Listen, if you put some comments in before, I could only go up so far. If you put them in early, I can't read the whole thing. So, and my other chat on YouTube is not working. So, I'm not skipping messages. I'm only reading what I can see on my end here. So, the first thing I could see is Ray saying, "What happened to Cunha? The player came to United and turned to baloney." Well, yeah, right now he's absolutely sucking. But I mean, today was his worst. Today was the worst performance I've seen this guy put in since coming to our football club, and it was highly disappointing. So, just absolute shit. But listen, I mean, it's a disgraceful performance. You know, I'm highly disgusted by the players. I'm disgusted about the way we went about the match. You know, it was totally wrong from all over the place. I mean, why we're slowing the game down? Why are we not trying to counterattack? Why are we not trying to hit them quick? Why are we taking our time when it's clear and obvious when you're playing the game that, hey, first of all, they're pushing up a lot. So actually, we should be counterattacking. We're not counterattacking. We're slowing it down, and we're trying to play like if we have Bruno, Mason Mount, or Kobe Mainoo on the pitch. And we don't have those guys. you know, it doesn't really tend to work when we have those guys on the pitch. We struggle when teams sit back and don't allow space. We struggle to unlock them. We struggle to open them up anyway. And then you tell me that we don't have any one of these three guys and we're going to slow it down anyway. We're not going to try and hit them fast. We're not going to make runs in behind. We're not going to try and be quick. We're going to try and pass it around and unlock them. It's fucking idiotic. It's absolutely fucking stupid. And for me, I mean, I don't really give a shit what anybody has to say. Come at me, go ahead, and do whatever you want. For me, I blame most of that on the players. Because you're on the pitch, you should be reading the game. Okay? When Delo picks up the ball and there's a chance to send it through and he doesn't and he holds it and then passes it fucking 5 feet next to him to the left, I don't blame the manager for that. How can I blame the manager for that? I'll blame the manager for some other things, but for the large majority of the game, I mean, the players didn't bring intensity. They didn't bring any speed. They didn't read the game. They didn't understand the game. And they kept doing the same shit over and over again. So, you know, where's their responsibility? They had no responsibility in terms of trying to change the game for themselves. You know, they should be trying to make changes on the pitch. When I see Cunha picking up the ball 27 fucking times in a match, and he's trying to dribble through 2, 3, 4, 5 players, you know, it's on him. Like, you should be learning that, first of all, that hasn't been working for you the whole game. So try something different. Second of all, you should know that when the ball is coming to your feet, you should know within the first 20, 30 minutes of the game, you should know as a United player, as soon as the ball gets to you, you should know that there's going to be 2 people on top of you immediately. You should know that. And when you're standing flat-footed with your back to the opponent's net, and you think you're going to get time when you haven't gotten time the entire game, and you still continue to do it, you are an unintelligent player. I'll put it nicely. Okay? Because I'm going to say a couple other things. Like, to me, that's absolutely brain dead. To me, that's stupid. To me, that's a lack of fucking IQ as a player. Okay? You have a certain responsibility as a player to understand the game that you're playing. All right? So that's first things first. That's first things first. Richard says, well, what can I say? I have to leave here on Friday night to go and watch that shit play against Leeds. Well, I'll tell you what. We tend to do these things, Richard. I bet you the Leeds match will actually play like how we're supposed to. Because it seems like when we play these matches that we are expected to win, when we're supposed to, you know, sort of coast, when we feel like we shouldn't have a problem, we tend to have problems, we struggle, and we don't get the results. You know, we go into the Boxing Day match against Newcastle, we're down players, we're a little bit worried, but, you know, we're hopeful. Do something on Boxing Day, we're home. But we're hopeful. If we actually go pull out a result, we come against Wolves, and everybody's like, yeah, you know, we beat them 4-1 last time. Should be an easy 3 points. Go get the job done. We're at home. You don't really have a choice. And what do? We come out and we play like shit. Absolute garbage. And you look at these 3 next matches, and you're talking about Wolves, Leeds, and Burnley, and you say, well, 9 points out of 9 points. You say Leeds will probably be the most difficult one because it's away from home. It's a derby, and they're in a bit of form compared to Wolves and Burnley, who are shit. And I bet you we go to that match and we actually play how we're supposed to play. I mean, you know, it wouldn't surprise me because we keep having this reoccurring theme at this club. I don't really understand it. I don't get it. I don't get why this is a thing at our football club. I don't understand why we can't sort this aspect out because it's really fucking annoying that we have to keep doing this. So, Axe says we can't keep going like this. Couldn't beat Grimsby yet. Couldn't beat a shipwreck of Wolverhampton at home. Come on. He thinks we are all bananas or what? Leave and go back to your jungle, mister. No. You know. Listen, I want you to come here and say these things when we win as well. All right. You don't say that. So come and say it when we win as well. Remember that. Ray says the club is about money, moving players we should keep for one more season like Rasmus. Well, that's what happens when you're, I don't know, $1 billion in debt. Listen, I that the aspect about money. I mean, we need money. You cannot succeed without money. So we need money. So I don't believe it's fully about money, but yes, like it has to be about money in some aspect. We need money. We need to buy players. We don't have a good team. The team is not good enough. We've lost some players, and all of a sudden now we don't have a team that like can score more than a goal. We don't have enough depth. This is what I mean by when I say that we overvalue this team, that we overrate these players. We lose a couple players out of the first team, and all of a sudden, now we're fucking totally different. And now we can't do anything. We don't have the depth. You want to become champions, we're fucking far off of it. You're talking to me about sack the manager because we're going to win the Champions League and we're going to go and win the Premier League. We don't have the squad. No manager's going to fucking do it. No manager's going to do it. You people don't understand. You don't understand. There is no depth. We don't have the depth. The depth is not good enough. Okay? We lose a couple players and that's it. We're finished. We can't do anything. We stop performing. We're unable to get results. We're unable to score now. Now we can't score more than a goal. Right now. And I had this worry when we were going to lose Mbeumo, we were going to lose Diallo. Now we've lost Bruno, which made it worse. We've lost Mount, we've lost Kobe, made it 10 times worse. We lose these guys, now we're finished. Because now we can't do shit, okay? Because the rest of the team, they ain't good enough. They shouldn't be here. We need to get rid of them. We need upgrades. And, not for nothing, I'm not going to go in on the youth, but people want these youth players in. They're not game changers. They're going to struggle, these fucking kids, okay? Okay, I'm not going to go in and Jack Fletcher, but don't tell me he did fucking amazing. Don't tell me he did amazing because he's Fletcher's son, all right? I'm not saying he did bad, but it's not... When we need an impact, when we need something to happen, and the team ain't doing it, they're not it. They don't got the experience. So don't talk to me about fucking youth either. We don't know how to service Sesko properly. I think that's a problem, Richard, as well. We haven't serviced a striker properly in fucking years. And the Momos and the idiots, at some point they'll just go all in on Sesko. Like they did to Rasmus, they'll go all in on Rasmus. They'll just go all in on the player because they don't know what else to say. And somebody will start it. Somebody with some big United channel will start going in on one of the players, and they can't think for themselves, so they'll start making their own opinions. Cunha missing presence. Amad Diallo today, says Lucky. Grace says it's only Wolves, Well, yeah, it's supposed to be only Wolves, We also need to ask what the fuck Omar Barada and Will Cox are doing. Grace says, but a back four will save us. Well, thank you, Grace. At least somebody said it. Andresito says no excuse. Everybody out. Grace says the low man of the match. Come on. Is that what you want? Thank you, Grace, for doing a moderating job or whatever you got to be doing there. Appreciate it. Grace says Eric Ruben screwed the game. Okay, please explain to me how. Please, provide context. Give me the reasons, point out, if you want to put it in a list, bullets, something, just explain why. Explain why. Lauren says we are done for the rest of the decade if we miss Europe again. That's how Ruben will be sacked. Well, yeah, I mean, he can't miss Europe. He'll be sacked. It's very clear. It's quite clear and obvious. My thing is, and we'll go back and talk about more of the match, but I will say once again, January, these guys are serious. Go get somebody. Go get somebody. Go get fucking anybody at this point. I don't really care. And what I mean by anybody, go get any position that's going to make a fucking difference for this team. Go do something. Because we quite clearly, this squad needs something more. What we have is only a certain level. We're only at this certain level. We need something to push us. So if they're serious, If they want Ruben to stay, if they want Ruben to succeed, if they want to get back into the fucking European spots, go in January, go get somebody that's going to be a catalyst for the rest of the season that can give us an extra push. We need somebody to give us an extra push, okay? If you got to move Xerxes out, if you got to move Ugarte, I don't know, be a football club. Do fucking business properly. You know, Arsenal are in first, and I'm listening to Arteta talk about they're going into the fucking market. Why? Because it's close, and they want an extra push to win. They're trying to win, okay? We got to do the same. We need an extra push. It's close. We're fucking up opportunities, but we're still there. But we need a push, okay? Every club is going to go get an extra push. This is where we will absolutely fall behind if they don't do it. Okay, we're getting a bit fortunate in terms of we are fucking up our opportunities, but somehow we're still staying in there because everybody else is a little bit like us. They're inconsistent, but the biggest change will come when they go do good business in January and we don't do fuck all, and then they get the push that they need and we don't. And we will go backwards and we will drop down and they will go up, and that's the end of the story for the whole thing. Okay? That's the end of the whole thing. That's why you have to play, so you give them time to grow into the game. Andresitos' back three at home versus Wolves is wild. I mean, listen, was it a back three at some point? I guess so. But I mean, it was a back four. It wasn't a back four. It was a back two. I think we played like almost everything today. So, you know, and actually, I called for it at halftime. I said he should probably go to the back three. Why? Because of the shape. I was saying that we should match the shape, because quite clearly the shape that we did in the first half was not matching with the shape that they did, and their shape was exposing our shape. So they were playing a back three. I said, let's play a back three. Let's match the shape. Let's go 1v1 in positions, match it, and go at them, because we should have the quality advantage to go one-on-one. He didn't really necessarily do that, but yeah. Abraham Joseph, sorry if the screen shakes, I apologize. This thing pisses me off that it does that. Abraham Joseph says, exactly, man, they asked for youngsters, right? And he gave them Jack and Montanto, and now they are demanding Lacey. Well, listen, I think the one thing that I'll say is that at some point, 75th minute or something, I mean, we weren't going to get this goal yet, and we needed more, for an attack. And the one criticism I'll definitely have for him is I would have threw on at this, it's desperation, and you can only use what you got. But I would have fucking thrown on Shea Lacey. I would have thrown on Cheeto. I would have went at full out attack. If they score on us and we lose, so fucking be it. Because at the end of the day, the point, is it really going to save you? I mean, listen, if we get in to Champions League or Europa League by a point, yeah, you can look back to this game and say maybe it was this point. But in terms of the outlook of it, in terms of the criticism that's going to come for it, whether you tie this match at home or they score a winning goal and they beat you, it's pretty much the fucking same. So I would have pushed for it, because we just had a lack of creativity and we needed some push in the attack. So I would have, at some 75th minute, 80th minute, just say, fuck it, man. At that point, just say, fuck it. Throw on Lacey, throw on Cheeto, keep on all the attackers, and just fucking go for it. Because to me, it's just like, you don't want to give up that goal, and you're hoping you could do it with what you got without 100% exposing yourself. But obviously, we weren't able to do it. And so we drew. And so now it's basically the same as a loss. So, personally, I do not think this is on Amorim. The squad is just not good enough, and we need signings this January. Lucky says Manuel Ugarte selling. Axe says they become top players as soon as they leave our team. No, they don't, bro. Look how much Wolverhampton have improved in just 3 weeks. Amorim is inflexible, stubborn, incompetent. Bro, you don't make sense, bro. He's inflexible. He just changed fucking to 3 different formations. So he's inflexible, and he's also stubborn. Bro, you don't make sense, bro. I don't want to hear shit, bro. I don't want to hear shit. You don't make sense, bro. You don't make sense. You are a walking, talking contradiction, my friend. You don't make sense at all. Those are not points. Those are not points. You want to explain to me that, you know, he should have made this change instead of that change. He didn't make this change. We could talk about that all day. You just want to start calling out words and say inflexible, incompetent, gaslighter, blah, blah, blah. Just little talk at bullying points with no explanation, no reasoning behind it. I'm not interested. I don't care. Grace says Maz, Delit, Maguire, Bruno, Mano, Ahmad, and Mbuemo, Mount, all out, 1 outfield. First team player on the bench, Euro, the rest are kids that aren't ready. And I think that's part of the problem. It is, you know, and people will say, well, I don't want to hear it. It's excuses. It's Wolves. We should beat them. But at the same time, I mean, the point is we have a first team. And then once you start going down the team, we don't have a good enough team. And I've been talking about this for fucking ages. Like, we cannot achieve what these people are demanding to achieve when we don't have the level of a team, okay? We don't have it. And when we lose players, and now we're in a fucked up situation, okay? The youngsters aren't ready. Playing them in a couple matches here and there ain't going to get them ready for what we need. It's not. It's not. Could prepare them a little bit more, but they are very raw. They are very young. And they ain't ready for this. Okay? Not in situations like this. Not in situations for we've lost our captain, we've lost all our players, our creative players, and we're going to need somebody to come and save our ass. Okay? We shouldn't be relying on the kids to come and save our ass. Okay? If you're relying on a bunch of kids to come save your ass in the first team, that's a problem. That's a major problem. That means that your team in the depth is shit. Okay, that means that we don't have a team. Okay, so if you're relying on a bunch of kids or you're hoping for a bunch of kids to come through and save us, well, that tells you the whole picture, in my opinion, that our team is not good enough. So how you want a team that's not good enough to succeed? It doesn't make sense. You know, you ask for the kids because the team isn't good enough. You get mad at the manager because it's the manager's fault. Meanwhile, the team's not good enough, but then you expect the kids to come and be good enough. The whole thing is a fucking contradiction in itself. The whole thing is a contradiction. Box's thoughts on Cunha this season, a senior man, Premier League proven, a proven goal scorer, mid-20s. Has he met your expectations? No, he hasn't. He's been quite disappointing. He's been quite disappointing. So far, I think out of all the signings that we made in the summer, he's been the worst one. So, because like the things you pointed out, Box, you know, like you pointed out, for those reasons, experienced player in his 20s. When I look at Sesko, and he's the opposite, less experienced, coming from a different league, you know, and Sesko needs to find his, you know, Sesko should have scored today. I'm really upset, like, that he didn't, because he had really good opportunities. Those are the opportunities that he needs to be getting in every match. The problem is he's not going to get those in every match. But today he got it in the match, and he needed to put one of those in there. And if you put one of those in there, we win the game. Okay? Like, there's a couple things, you know, like the Ruben Amorim haters, the Ruben Amorim outers, they're just going to put the whole thing on him. I'm not fucking interested in it, because for every agenda you have, I could flip it around and just say the opposite. All right? I'm not interested in it. You know, if Sesko scores the fucking goals, we win the game. Okay? We win the game. He didn't score. But you're not going to blame Sesko. You'll blame Ruben. You just blame Ruben because you hate Ruben, you don't like him, and you want him to fail. So I'm not fucking interested. I'm really not. I don't give a shit. You people wait for us to have a bad result to come and talk bad about the manager. When we get a good result, you people say nothing. I'm sick and tired of it, and I'm not fucking doing it anymore. And if you don't like it, you can fucking leave. I don't care. I really don't give a shit. I don't care. I've had enough with this fan base and their agenda. I've had enough with all this bullshit that goes on in the fan base. This hypocrisy, okay? This reactionary bullshit. I'm tired of it. So I'm not dealing with it anymore. And if you have a problem with that, goodbye. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. I don't need you here. I don't need you to stay here. I could care less. All right? People that actually care and want to have a real discussion, you're more than welcome to always stay around and we can talk. But other than that, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't. All right? I try to be nice about things, but I can only tolerate a certain level, and I'm not fucking having it. I'm not having it. Why was Xerxes substituted off, says Axe. Well, I would assume it was for a tactical change. Maybe he has given us the answer in his post-match, press conference or, thoughts. And I will get to those in a little bit to check them out and see what he said. But I don't think he took Xerxes off necessarily because he deemed Xerxes as the worst player. Again, this guy makes changes with personnel based on certain players where they play in the positions where they put them in. They bring different attributes, so the team will play differently, and you can have them play the position in different ways. That's how he makes the changes. So he wanted the team to obviously change the shape, change sort of the direction. So he took off Xerxes because Xerxes has some abilities, but he doesn't have other abilities, and he put Jack Fletcher on instead of him to get a different type of ability to try and change the team. So did it work? It didn't work, right or wrong? I don't know. You can say whatever you want about that, but I think that is the reasoning for it. At least for me, that's how I see it. I know I'm not him, but that's what I can think of off the top of my head. So Grace says, but when we played a 4-2-3-1, didn't we play 3-5-2 in attack? But isn't that the shape we play when we play 3-4-3? I mean, yes, pretty much, Grace. And that's my whole thing. Like, again, this is why this conversation about four in the back, the formation that they show us on the little screen when we're watching and it says 4-2-3-1, that's going to take us to the promised land. Like, that shit doesn't matter. Like, you can have that on there and you can play fucking 2 at the back on the pitch. You can play with 7 in the back on the pitch. It's about how they are instructed to play and where they're positioning themselves on the field. That's why this conversation about if we start with 4 in the back or there's 3 in the back or there's 5 in the back, like, it doesn't make a difference. It's about how they're playing on the field. If they're going forward and they're attacking, it's one thing. If they're sitting back and they're not, then it's a different thing. Like, I don't get the obsession with the numbers. It's weird. It's so weird. Like, it's so weird that people just feel that, like, if you see the little formation and it says 4-2-3-1 on the screen, that means that we're going to win. Like, that number doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything. You can play a 4-3-3 and play it ultra defensive. You can play a fucking 4-5-1 and make it play super attacking. It doesn't really make a difference in the number. It doesn't. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Like, it doesn't make sense at all. I can't read all these comments, so I'm just going to try to get to, what I can get to. So, Cash Shivam says, we became a joke of a club today. With this performance, manager does not deserve any January signings. Okay, I'm going to stop you right there, my friend. I don't give a fuck if the manager deserves signings or not. The football club itself, the team itself, the squad, needs signings anyway. You cannot not make signings because you don't think the manager deserves it. Because what happens is the other teams that we're trying to compete with and we're trying to beat are going to make signings. And they're going to get better. And you're going to sit here and say, Ruben doesn't deserve a signing, so let's not sign anybody. He'll get sacked. And now we're worse anyway. And then the next guy that comes in is picking us up in an even worse position. It doesn't make sense. Okay? So I'm just going to stop you right there. It has nothing to do with specifically Ruben. That's not how you operate a football club, my friend. You need to be bringing in players constantly, irregardless of the manager. You have to constantly be building. You have to constantly be changing. You have to constantly be replacing. Okay? It happens every market. Every serious club does it. Even the clubs that are in first place and winning trophies, they literally go buy more players. All right? So let him rot mid-table. No, see, like, you want the club to succeed. You want him to rot mid-table. Doesn't make sense. You don't like him. You want him to fail. So let him get sacked. Do you know what that does for the next guy that comes in? It puts us in a more worse position. So your people's logic, these people that have this logic, are ass backwards, okay? You are ass backwards. Because you want the team to go backwards so the manager can get sacked, and then you expect the next guy, because you think whoever comes in is going to do a way better job than Ruben. You expect the next guy to come in and take the club that's now in a worse position and do better with it. That logic doesn't make sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Very disappointed in Sesko, says Lawrence. Cunha and Dorgu tonight. Well, I think the one thing as well is, like, listen, on Ruben, I was surprised that he put Dorgu where he put Dorgu after Dorgu had the performance that he had. Maybe I was a bit foolish in being so surprised, because he does tend to do things where he does this based on the opposition. He will, like, start shifting players around because of different, characteristics and qualities or whatever, and how they play and whatever. So, but I just figured, like, it was the first time we saw it. It went decently well for a period. Dorgu had an excellent game there, so I just figured that we would see it there. So I think on that part, he totally got that wrong in that aspect, and that part's on him. I think he changed too much. I think he tried to be too clever about it today, and that definitely sort of had a bad impact on the first half, because we struggled massively, in periods of the first half, and then we get the goal. Sort of came a little bit out of nowhere because we weren't really in control of the game, but we got it, and we did again what we did. We threw it away. Off a shit corner, comes off Xerxes' head. Who's back there? I don't even know who that was. Was it Dorgu that didn't mark his man, or Heaven, or whoever it was? Nobody picked him up. Free header, and the rest was sort of history, because again, we don't have the creators. We're gonna struggle. We struggle to create when teams play packed in anyway. We don't have the creators. So we really could have never let that happen, and we let it happen, and we suffered the result because of it. So Fox says, should have subbed on Lacey instead of Montanto. Lacey should have had a better chance of picking a lock or delivering a ball. You know what? I agree with that too, Box. I think that's fair. Listen, Lacey came on last time. He looked quite decently good. We've never seen Montato. He hasn't come on. And seeing what Montato came on and did, I think he struggled because of the situation. So I'm not gonna kill the kid, but I just think that, it was his first time featuring. He clearly had probably a bit of nerves, and it was a difficult situation. I think Lacey showed some great intent. The last time he came on, I think he showed sort of less fear, or some fearlessness. So I think, I think that was a bad call from him as well. Lacey probably should have came on, instead of that kid. All right. I don't think it was the best situation to put that kid on. Lacey already touched the pitch. I don't actually understand why Lacey didn't come on at all. And again, for me, the biggest thing is I'm disappointed mainly in the fact that he didn't really go for it, because again, the point is the draw is a loss. Okay. And we had the opportunity to go in, and I would have respected it more. I would be furious, don't get me wrong, but I would have respected it more if he put on those two guys, those two kids, if he put on Cheeto, if he put on Shea with everybody else he put on, and he really went for it, and we tried to actually score. And if they ended up scoring on us, they ended up scoring on us. Fuck it. But I could have respected that a little more, you know, because I wanted the 3 points. We played like absolute shit. Blame all around to everybody. The players, him as well. But, you know, there's some aspects he's got to get the blame for it. He's fucked it up. So, but what, we was in a title race not that long ago, right? Yeah. Oh, how the fans like to dream, Grace. Which manager starts 7 defenders and then subs off defenders each and every game? What's wrong with him? 7 defenders. We're starting 7 defenders. I don't know. I might be dyslexic or something. 7? 7? Where'd you get 7 from? We started 7 defenders. Now, I don't know why he subbed off Heaven for Yoro. You know, that I don't understand. That doesn't... I don't get that. But, you know, Box is very frustrated with Cunha. I'm behind in the chat, but I'm trying to hit everything. I'm not trying to skip people's points. Ray says, we're never going to have a team the way you're talking. Ruben's never played the youth. Now is playing them because of the situation. That's not how you grow your youth. Well, you seem to be the expert in how to grow the youth, you know. Tell us, how do you grow the youth? You know, why don't you do it? I don't know. You know, again, here's the thing. At this moment in time, I could fucking care less about the youth, okay? The youth have done nothing for us in the last 12 years. You know, so again, this youth thing with this fucking manager at this moment in time, I think is preposterous. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. What youth are you growing? If the team is gonna fail, where are you growing the youth? How are you gonna grow the youth? Again, you like these people, let's take all the youth. Let's take all the fucking guys out of the first team. Let's take all the youth, put them in. And I'm going to sit back like this and I'm going to watch them crumble. I'm going to watch them get absolutely destroyed. Their careers are going to go down the toilet because they're going to get fucking murdered. Okay? And then what? Then what? Then what? We're not in a position to grow the youth. We don't have a fucking team. The youth is not going to save us. The youth haven't done anything for us since like 1992. Okay? We've had like maybe 1 or 2 guys that have been at best average, slightly above average, that have made it into the team and have contributed. What youth? You know, it's, you know, it's just weird. It's weird. Okay, good. You know, you hate this manager and you hate his playing style. Great. You know, good for you. And he needs to go. Good. Okay, I know that. I know that's what you want. But guess what? You're not getting it. So, tactical change. There are no tactics, mate, other than glory ball over the top from mids. Fox says I wouldn't even have started Xerxes leaving anyway. Well, yeah. You have bananas in your head. Nobody wants to come play for us. Wolves manager outmaneuver Ruben. Yeah. All right. Outmaneuvered Ruben. Yeah. All right. You people are fucking hilarious, you know? You people are hilarious. Outmaneuvered Ruben. Outmaneuvered Ruben. Yeah. What are we playing? A top-down shooter? You got outmaneuvered? Yeah, you have full control of what's going on the pitch? No, we lose, we talk about Ruben. Nobody wants to talk about any of the players. Nobody wants to talk about how they have any responsibility in this. Nobody wants to talk about how fucking guys are not reading the game. You know, I don't know if you people actually played it. Maybe you haven't played the game, you know? Maybe it's been a long time since you played. But, you know, as a player, you have a lot of responsibility what happens on the pitch, okay? And I'm one of those people that believe in that because I used to be a player, all right? I would very rarely blame the manager, the coach, you know, for things that happen on the pitch. It's the ball is in my feet. I am on the field. Okay? And these are professionals. They get paid hundreds of thousands. You were supposed to be the top tier. You were supposed to be the upper echelon. You're supposed to have a certain understanding about the game. That's what makes you a professional. And I watch them and they don't. They don't read the game. They don't do the job. They don't adjust. They don't try different things. They do stupid decisions on the field. But it's so much easier to just hate on one fucking guy. We do this all the time with everybody at this football club, okay? I have had enough of it. I've had enough of it. You people that are doing this to Amorim, we've done it to Ten Hag, we've done it to fucking that player, we've done it to this player. It's always the same story, just a different person. Just a different thing. So... how many bad calls Ruben had today? Almost everything he did. Okay, so what... I mean... With what he's got... and what he's got to do... what do you do? What do you do? I mean, it's always great to talk about things in hindsight. Should have done this, should have done that. Should have done this, should have done that. Again, there's still no guarantee. He could have set up exactly the same way he went against Newcastle, and for all we fucking know, we could have lost the match today. You would like to think, and you would say no, because maybe you're trying to use a bit of common sense, but how the fuck do you know? You know, when I watch the players put in the performance the way they do, we spoke about it before the match. If you don't bring the intensity, if you're not doing the basics, forget your formation, forget your tactics, forget everything. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the fuck you play. If you're not doing basics, if you're not putting in intensity and effort, forget what formation you're playing. You're not going to win in any formation. You can put fucking 8 in the front. You're not going to win with playing like that. So, you know, what is it? What does it matter? I'm glad Montato, I keep pronouncing his name wrong. Richard says, yeah, let's face it, there are a lot of players who wouldn't choose us no matter how much we paid them. Yeah, that's why we got to find players, you know? Like a Lemons. This is what I'm talking about. This is the job. This is the job. The job is we're going to lose out on Semenyos. Okay? We just are. It's where we are. But what you got to do is you got to find lemons. All right? And maybe you get some lemonade. All right? Now I'm being a bit silly. But seriously, like, you got to find people like Lemons. Okay? Like, came from the Belgian league. I didn't know much about him myself. Never watched him play. Excellent price. Has had a great impact. We need players like that. We need a bunch of them. This is the transfers. We need more personnel. We need better personnel. We need better personnel for sure. Fox says, yeah, might as well have gone for it, subbed off Delo and Casemiro for Obi and Lacey. I mean, I sub off anybody. Fuck it. You know, at that point. Whatever. And just throw in more people. Imagine being paid a lot of money to do nothing productive as the head coach of Manchester United. Actually, we get fired in one day. All right? In vain, you try to defend Amorim. His incompetence is crippling. Hoping for him to improve is obviously utopian. He was the last horrible transfer we could afford. All right. Again, I'm willing to see the thing through. All right? And at least I stick in my fucking laurels. Okay? I believe, and I'm going to go right through, and I'll go down with the ship. I don't really give a fuck. You know, I don't care. It's my belief. It's my belief. It's my belief, and I see that this is a process. Today was a fucking shit result and a shit performance. We're gonna have days like this, but I don't throw everything out the window because of fucking, this. There's still a season. All right? If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But nah, yeah, like, as long as there's a chance, I'm staying around, for sure. 100%. And nothing anybody tells me is going to change my mind. The only way I change my mind is when I decide I want to change my mind. And if that sounds familiar to you, well, maybe you're starting to understand a little bit. Richard says, well, I do agree about developing the youth because it is a central part of Manchester United DNA. I understand that. I get that. Okay, I'm not trying to say throw the fucking youth out the window. But I think that there is a time and a place for it. And I don't think we are at that place. That's my main thing. So if our youth are not developing, then sack the staff responsible. And, fair point, Richard. And again, I like that because you know what? It's not just you just going directly at the manager like everybody does, because again, that's not how the football club works. He's not the fucking only guy that's making this call. There's people that are running the youth teams. There's people that are evaluating the squads and evaluating the players, and they're the ones that make the calls on if the players are recommended to go up to get opportunities in the first team. There's a system behind it, but everybody just goes, it's Ruben is ruining it. Ruben is a bad man. It's all on him because we don't have any knowledge past the guy that we could see with our two eyeballs, because we can't take time to read. We can't take time to understand things. We don't want to understand things. We just want good, bad, evil, horrible, terrible. Imagine I spoke like that all the time. Imagine I spoke like a Momo. Bad guy, out. Bad guy, out. Bad guy, out now. Like, dude. But yes, thank you, Richard. Like, I'm not saying let's abandon the youth. But my thing is, I don't believe that this club is in a situation that would benefit the youth. I don't think it would work. I don't see how they would properly grow. I don't believe that's the proper way to go about it. I think we need to figure out how to stabilize our first team. We need to stabilize this football club. The way you stabilize this football club is through good recruitment. Through good recruitment is going to take us a number of transfer windows because there is literally nothing else. It has to take 3 to 4 good windows. Get everything right. Stabilize the football club. Have the right manager. Okay? If you have the right manager, you don't have the right players, it ain't going to work. If you have the right players, you don't have the right manager, it ain't going to work. Okay? We need everything. All right? And I think when we get there, we can go back to being normal Manchester United, where we don't have to worry about our first team. We have an identity. We play well. And then that's when the youth come in. We'll be a stronger team. It'll be a better environment. We could give them way more opportunities, way more chances. We'll be able to help them out a lot better because we'll have better players, stronger players on the pitch surrounding them. So if they're struggling in the match or they have a bad performance, we'll have leaders, we'll have people that can grow them. We don't fucking have any of that right now, do we? And if you tell me we do, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't, because we don't. Amorim understands nothing about our DNA. Yeah, he's toxic. Again, one of these hyperbolic word, toxic. He's toxic. Gaslighter. You people all sound the same, You never give any, again, you say he's toxic. Where's the breakdown? Examples. Give me a quote. Give me something. There's never any substance, is there? There's never any substance. And when I say you people, it's because acts the things you say are the things I read online, okay? And the people that I see online, I don't take these people seriously because a lot of them are clowns, all right? A lot of them are clowns. And they all say the same thing. So it's not an independent thought, and it's not a real thought. Okay? It's not a human being thought. All right? You say toxic, you say gaslighter. That's all I read on X. That's all these weirdo people say. Okay? And they don't ever give any examples. They can't give me a fucking quote. They can't give me a prime example of how he's toxic. He's just toxic. You know, it's the same shit as when people scream racism and it's not racism, or they scream fucking some other bullshit word that sounds horrible to throw dirt on somebody's name, okay? And it's just bullshit, all right? And it's a lot in society, all right? It's one of those things, okay? And I see right through it. I see through the bullshit, okay? You can't bullshit me, all right? That's number one. So that would be your first mistake, to try and bullshit me. You cannot bullshit me. This is part of the problem. We do not have competent staff to find players we need. Well, maybe so. But, Richard, my ultimate question, Richard, is I would say to you, my friend, okay? Let's just say that's 100% fact and accurate, right? And I'm not saying it's not, but let's just say it is, okay? Now, if we're going to go through the process of actually getting competent staff, as you say, right? This is my ultimate question, and it probably goes to every other aspect of the football club. If we don't have it, and we haven't had it for 12 years, how long does it take us to get it? To go through the process, step by step, get people in. First of all, it's very difficult because we're not in the best position. So just like how you people are saying, you know, what player wants to come to us? Well, what fucking director of football would want to come to us that's a high level? Okay? These are the problems that we face in and around the entire football club. You know, you talk about what players want to come to us. What director of football wants to come to us? What sporting director? What kind of scouts? You know, there is a reason we struggle all around. It's because we haven't been good for 12 years. Yet these people want to tell me that we should be doing way better, and they're demanding that shit happens. It don't work like that, bro. If they don't want to come and we don't have it, and how can you possibly think that we would figure out how to fix this within a year or two? It is literally impossible. This club has been destroyed over 12 years, and you think we're going to turn it around in 2? You live in a fantasy land. It's fucking impossible. You are not going to turn this football club around with the damage that has been done to it in 2 seasons. It is fucking impossible. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen, especially under the current regime we have. And the setup we have. And I tell you what, you can hate Ineos all you want, but the Glazers ain't gonna fucking go anywhere. So we're stuck with them. So you can bitch all and moan all you want, but these guys ain't going anywhere. So we need to figure out how we can succeed with this, unless it's just unsucceedable. And then we just have to accept that as long as this thing is around, that's it, you know? And we'll just be what we are until one day they leave us alone. And then, you know, who knows how far along that is, and who knows where the fuck we'll be after that. Yes, but Eric, we should be in a position where we can find and develop young players. So let's look past Ruben and look higher up the tree. Well, listen, I think we are getting a bunch of, I mean, they do have like a focus on the youth as well. Like we are buying a bunch of youth players, like a ton of them, you know? But a lot of them are very young, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 14-year-olds, players that you're not going to see for another 3, 4, 5 years. So, and I think also, to be fair, like, again, like, I think our youth sort of recruitment and our youth thing, especially under the past 2 CEOs before the one that we have now and what we were doing, I think it suffered immensely. I think they totally, completely ignored it, and it was a disaster. So you're talking about, however many years that was, 8, 10, that we've sort of, like the Glazers did with everything else, they neglected the youth. Okay, so now you want to get back to that. Fine. Okay, and I think that they're trying to look to do that. But for it to happen, how long does it take? Again, like I think if you ignore something for 8 to 10 years and you sort of let it be mediocre or rot or shit or not operate properly, how long does it take to implement the changes and then start seeing the results coming out of the changes? Because for me, it just feels like it's a long process, unfortunately, especially when you're talking about youth, because they're younger guys. So first you got to fix the whole process of finding them. Then you need to wait. Then you need to help them develop. Then they need to actually develop. By the time this actually comes about, that's like 4 or 5 years, depending on what age you're getting them at. If you're getting a 15-year-old, it's going to take 3 to 4 years before we actually see them. So I'm disagreeing with you, Richard. I think you're making good points. The problem I have is the people that just say grab them and throw them in because they'll succeed or they're going to grow or it's going to help us. And I'm just like, I don't see how that's going to work. At this moment in time. If I was an employer, I would sell my project. It won't be fixed in a year or two, but I see nothing as a fan that the Ineos project has progressed the club. Well, I mean, listen, that's fair to a certain point. The problem that I have is listen, if you take over a mess, okay, and you take over something that's been destroyed and is a disaster, right? And you come in and you make a bunch of changes. If it takes a number of years to actually turn it around and fix it and see a lot of the things turn around, because you're talking about 12 years of bad stuff, okay? And if you say generally a large majority of the major important things, if you implement changes and you start doing the right things, you should really start seeing a lot of the, rewards from it 3 to 4 years. It should be like maybe opposite as what it used to be. All right. Now, when you make those changes in the initial stage, is it just going to go, positive swimmingly in the beginning? Or is it going to cause, especially if United was already like unstable to a certain point, if you make changes are always disrupt things. It always causes issues. So we had issues, we made changes, so we've added sort of issues on top of issues, but I guess it's in the hope that those are momentary issues that eventually, once enough time goes by, once we're doing the right thing for a certain length of period, those things won't be problems anymore, and they'll actually be solutions, and we'll actually be getting good things out of it. The initial problem is the initial period. When you make the changes, the first like 1 to 2 years or whatever like that, somewhere around there, like it's going to be rocky. It's going to be bumpy. It's not going to go like from 0 to 100. It's going to be a pain in the ass. There's going to be setbacks. And also you have to account for human error in that we're not going to get every transfer right. We're not going to get every sort of appointment to every, position in there right. It's impossible. So we're always fighting an uphill losing battle pretty much, but you got to keep trying to chip away at it little by little. Otherwise, we're not going to get anywhere. It's just going to take a shitload of time. 31 points, okay. Sup, big man. Happy New Year. Sup, DJ. Happy New Year. I wish it was on better terms, my friend, but I mean, shit result today to end the year, unfortunately. So, listen, I've been ranting quite a lot, so I relax. Let me go read some quotes and shit or something. I don't know what to do. So one of my good friends here, his name is Matty FC, if you know him. One of my good friends here says he says Amorim got a lot wrong today. But the worst of them all is playing these youngsters. He said, don't care if it hurts your feelings. These academy players are actually so poor. Need to stop forcing Amorim to play them. They are simply not ready and had no impact. Somebody said, let's talk about Cunha. And he said they're all trash today. Bruno, Meno, and Buemo and Ahmad are all we got for the attack. Don't matter what formation we played. Without them, there is no creativity. Well, listen, on the youth part, again, I mean, yeah, and listen, I don't think he's being necessarily in terms of, I don't think anybody's forcing him to do it. I think he's doing it now because he has to. But again, I highly disagree. Where I agree with is Richard that, you know, the process of the youth is important to this football club. And if you want to make that argument, that's fine. But at the same time, I will tell you that if we don't have the products, if they're not good enough, then we shouldn't be forcing them through. And we shouldn't be trying to force things that aren't going to work. That is my big issue. You know, I'm not trying to fight people on the youth. I'm not trying to say that we can't use them, that we shouldn't have them. I love the aspect of the youth. But ultimately, there are people in our fan base that are unwilling to accept that our youth players are not as good as they make them out to be. And they hype the shit out of the youth players. And I don't even know if they watch them. You know, the majority of these people. Like, if you actually watch them, fair play to you. And you watch them on a consistent basis, fair play to you. I've taken nothing away from you. But I'm speaking more generally. The majority of the fan base, they don't watch full 90 minutes of the youth. They don't watch all the under 18s, under 21s. And I think they overrate a lot of them because there is a love and sort of a legacy for the youth in Manchester United. And I get it because I'm a fan of the club. I understand. It's part of the club, but also there's this aspect in a certain section of the fan base that it has turned into a weird obsession because you are unwilling to accept that they are not at the level that they need to be for us to be able to use them in the way you want to. So I think that's where the biggest discrepancy is that we have. I trust the people that we have because I have no other option. I'm not a manager. I'm not a coach at Manchester United. I'm not an expert in any way in any of those things. I haven't done it on any level. And I don't get to see them. So we'll have to trust the guys that are there. Multiple coaches, the under 21s head coach, the under 18s head coach, Jason Wilcox, Vivell, all these guys. Like, if they got somebody, I'm sure they will push them through. I'm sure. But if we're not seeing them really get pushed through, then I have to accept that maybe they just ain't fucking good enough. And it's sad because it's like, yeah, there are players. We want them to become the world best so we can put them on a stage and say, look what we created. Look, and we can be proud and say, look, we made one of the best players in the world. He came from our academy. I get that, but if they're not that, you can't just force it to happen. Like, it's not going to happen. And I think that I don't think that the level of the academy players is actually as good as people would like to believe. I don't. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, listen, these people that say sack him now and it instantly improves our situation are the same people that tell me about Eddie Howe and fucking Glasner and Iriola and look at their teams and look at where they are. So, And this is the thing, like, and they're going to tell me that they're better managers than him. Bro, they will come to this football club and they will fucking drown. Listen, it's one thing to manage a Newcastle and you might not have the level quality, but you come to this football club, try and hit the expectations with the shit that you have. You know, this is what I'm saying. Like, these people, sacking him instantly improves our situation. That's how bad it has become. Okay. Again, great if you believe that. I think that's nonsense. Because I think the issues are so deep in this football club. And I think anybody that comes here is going to struggle, just like every other fucking guy that was here before him. So, you know, these are the same people that also told me, and I made the mistake to a certain degree, that they told me we sack Ten Hag and the situation improves, you know? And that was my last straw on even having an ounce of a focus on the manager, because it's just so evident. How many more do you got to go through before you realize that until we fix the other shit, there's no guy who's gonna make it here? Yo, I think there's people here that have some weird obsession as well, that they believe that another Fergie is going to appear and make miracles. Bro, it's not gonna happen, bro. You ask for miracles. You ask for fantasy. All right. You ask for fantasy. Brother, you were looking a lot better. You looked a bit under the weather last. Yeah, I wasn't feeling that great, my friend. Last time I was a bit sick, so sorry I didn't have the chat up, guys. Richard says, but we are forcing youth players through because of other policies within the club, because no one is competent enough to get the players we need. I'm effing lost, or what's that button over there for? LOL, glory, man. What button? There's a button. Managing Manchester United is different from any other club. Lucky says he's sticking with the manager. People, gender, plans don't change. Listen, my thing is, it's as easy as they can say, like this guy here, yeah? This is what I'm looking at, okay? His name is MUFC JKO, all right? He says, sacking him instantly improves our situation. That's how bad it has become. The most anti-Manchester United coach I've ever seen at the head of the ship. Mentally, I've checked out. It just hurts. Okay, when I go onto this guy's tweet and I type in Erik Ten Hag, he was saying the worst shit about Erik Ten Hag. Okay? And this is the same people that tell me that Areola would do a better job and he would get us somewhere. Eddie Howe would do a better job and he would get better somewhere. And again, the way they speak, it's like they know the fucking future, bro. You have no clue what happens when we sack Erik Ten Hag. Okay, I mean when we sack Ruben Amorim. Okay, it could get better. It could get worse. Could be a fucking mistake. You have absolutely no clue. You don't know who we're gonna get. You have all these ideas of who you would go get, but guess what? Your ideas don't fucking mean jack shit because you ain't running the club and you don't have any power. So you can say sack him and get me fucking whatever, insert whatever manager you want, and when they go and get some other manager, then what? Then what? And if it doesn't improve, then what? We're going to sack him too, right? Yeah, okay. And then we'll go and we'll do it again. And we'll do it again, and we'll do it again, and we'll do it again. All right? These people are asking for a guy to get sacked because he had a shitty season last season because of the situation that happened last season in terms of, I don't put a lot of blame on him for last season. I put a lot of the blame on Ineos. I think they got that whole fucking thing wrong. I think they went about it the wrong way. And I understand how it was very difficult for him to come in that situation and perform well. All right? This season, we are doing better. We could do even better. We're fucking up some opportunities. We're still in and around this conversation. So for me, it's over when we're not in the conversation. Okay? I'm not one of these people that believes in cutting it now to take a fucking gamble because they think that if we cut it now, we can go on to do something better. All right? We did the same shit. The fans said the same shit under Eric Ten Hag, and it went fucking backwards. Okay? When they sacked Ali, and they said the same thing, and Ranić came in, we went backwards. Okay? So these people that keep saying this, I don't believe you. I'm not going to listen to you. And I don't think you're fucking right. And I think you're full of shit because you say this now. You're going to celebrate him getting sacked. You'll celebrate the new guy. And when the problems that are still there persist and the new guy starts fucking struggling and we start struggling, you're going to just cloak it under different labels, different terms, different words, in a slightly different angle, and you're gonna start attacking that guy. And it's the same fucking thing over and over and over again. Always and forever. Always and forever. Okay? We're going around in a giant circle, and I truly believe, I think some of these people have a fetish. I do. I think they have a weird fetish for this. I think that they're so miserable that they have some weird, sick, twisted fetish that they get it's almost like a hit of crack or something that they get from, they go through this cycle of they champion the new guy, they're behind him. As soon as it starts going a little bit sideways, they fucking do a 180 on him. Fuck that guy, fuck him. And then when he gets sacked, they celebrate it like we won the Premier League. And then we hire a new guy, and then they celebrate it like we won the Champions League. And then it goes back in the other way, and then they fucking stabbed him in the back again. I think they have a weird sickness in them. I do. Until somebody can give me a concrete argument and not bullshit bullet talking points, words, of to why we should actually sack this guy and how that's going to work after. Because I never see anybody make any good points, okay? I never see anybody make good points. Like, these guys say Eric Ten Hag was sacked for less, Josie was sacked for less, Van Gaal was sacked for less, Solskjaer was sacked for less, but I'm supposed to sit here and get behind a manager who not only goes against every principle the club was built on, but one who has 12 league wins in 12 months. Yeah. Okay. All right. Very good. It's good you don't understand the situation of the club. All right, it's very good. When Van Gaal took over the team, how many years were we away from Fergie? How many years were we away from winning the Premier League? All right. When Jose took over the team and was sacked for less, how many years were we away from winning the Premier League? From the last time we won it. And then when Solskjaer took it over and was sacked for less, all right, how many years away were we from winning it? And when Eric Ten Hag took over and was sacked for less, how many years was he away from it? Again, these people, like, they also don't understand. Like, it's quite simple. Like, he has the season. If it fails, he will lose his job. Like, if he doesn't get Europe, he's going to lose his job. These people are panicking because they truly believe that if you sack this guy, you get somebody else in. It guarantees. You can't guarantee me shit. Okay? I don't buy that. That to me is bullshit. Okay? Anybody that tells me the words, we sack the manager and we're guaranteed top 4, you are full of shit. Okay? I see right through you. You are a snake. You are lying. Because deep down, there's no way that you know that. There's no evidence to prove that. I've seen managers get sacked from here, and I've seen the season go backwards. So there is no fucking guarantee that means that we get top 4. And that's why these people are so pressed to sack him. they don't want to take the gamble, or they don't want to see, they just don't want to see the season play out. They think we can save the season. They might be right, but they might be wrong. But I don't accept the way that they tell me. I don't accept the fact that they tell me it's a guarantee. They tell me it is 100% dead on. And I don't buy that. So I think they're full of shit. I think their opinions are full of shit. I think they're full of shit. Oh, on your keyboard. If it wasn't for music, I don't know what I'd do. Well, music is a great escape as well. And the world would be pretty boring without music, DJ. It would. So, Man United's incentive for Xerxes is to piss off to Roma. Ray says, you say players lets down when we going to say Ruben lets down. When? Well, he gets things wrong. Okay? He does, and he got things wrong today. When I will say he let us down? Well, number one, if he doesn't get Europe, that's an ultimate failure. So, but there's too many things that I think are problems that how can I say, well, he's 100% let us down? You know, if the team isn't good enough, is it his fault? All his fault? Like I'm talking about personnel. Like if some of the players aren't the level that we need them to be, if they're actually not good enough, if you can only do so much with them, is that his fault? Is that his fault? Some people will say better managers will get better out of them. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I have an argument for that, and I will ask you, why don't the other managers do this? Why don't the fucking great managers? Why? Nobody can ever answer me that question, and nobody ever addresses it. Everybody skirts away from that. Why didn't Guardiola do it? Why didn't Bro at PSG do it? Why didn't Ancelotti do it? Why? Why don't they do it? Why? You know, if they can get the best out of majority of players because they're so fucking great, why do they buy players? Why do they buy better players? Why do they sell the players they have at the club? Why don't they just use what they have? Why don't they just use the players they have in the team, make them all fantastic, go grab a bunch of 16-year-olds, turn them into fucking superstars, and that's it. You never have to buy anybody ever again. All you need is a guy with a fucking magic wand that's a genius and is like God and just touches things and it turns into amazing things. Apparently, nobody can ever give me an answer as to, you say, well, he should get better of the players. Maybe they're just not that fucking good. But, people would rather just say the manager is shit than accept that their players that play for their team aren't actually that fucking good. So, for me, I mean, it let us down. But also, when I think about it, I mean, I tell you right now, like, if they don't get him something of significance in January, and I'm talking about Ineos, well, I think he's fucked. So, I don't think he'll get Europe, right? So, I think he'll get sacked. So he'll let us down, but then, they let him down and they let us down. So it can never be all his fault. Just like it's not all the players' fault. But there's got to be a system of how we fix this. And obviously it starts with these guys because they're making the decisions at the club. So they got to make the right decisions. And I think for me, the biggest thing is recruitment. I honestly, I put the recruitment right now, the way it is, I prioritize recruitment over the manager. So until we start actually bringing in like the proper players and building like having a proper team, I can't do this thing with the manager because I just look at it and I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Like, no matter who you get, if we're not getting the proper recruitment done, we're fucked. we're fucked. Like every manager, nobody's gonna make it happen here. You know. We're all disappointed, all our friends from all over the world. And here in London, I sadly feel everyone's pain. Well, I'm going to bed. See you, Richard. Thanks, everyone. Think of me on Sunday. I'm going, all those Leeds fans. Well, good luck. Wish you all the best. I hope they win it for you and make it worthwhile, my friend. And they owe us one. So, you know, it'll be a new year. Maybe we'll get a new start. They certainly owe us one, you know, for what they did today. So they better go and make it right. Is all I have to say for them to do that. So, oh yeah, Napoli United, toot toot, beep beep. AFCON players out. Imagine this: we get Conte, then we rebuy Scott, Lukaku, Hoyland, and Mano. Oh no, dude! If we actually did that, Buonanotte, Lawrence. See you. Thank you for stopping by. Please, guys, make sure if you didn't hit the like button, just hit the like button on the way out. Appreciate all the support. And appreciate every single one of you. And have a good night. And listen, Happy New Year. I don't think you know, maybe we'll stream tomorrow. I gotta check out the vibe. So if we don't end up streaming, Happy New Year to everybody. But yeah, certainly, I mean, I don't know. I gotta see. So just keep a lookout. You know, it is New Year's Eve, but yeah, we either stream tomorrow, and if we don't stream tomorrow, then maybe we stream New Year's Day. I'll let you know in a little bit. I'm about to get off in a couple minutes. I'm not getting off yet. I'm just keeping you updated for the guys that are you know, leaving, because I want to let you guys know. But where are we on time actually? Because I need to see. Well, I tell you what, I've done way longer shows, and I feel like I've been here for fucking 3.5 hours, and it's only been an hour and 20 minutes. So, I mean, dude, this show, listen, we're an hour and 22 minutes in, and I've done shows that have been 3 hours and 30 minutes, and those things have flown by. This show, hour and 20 minutes in, I feel like I've been here for 3. It's probably because I did the watch along, so it kind of just feels like it's rolled all into one, to a certain degree. But yeah, listen, let me look at some of the things. Yo, like, listen, who are these people that are lying in the poll? Okay, who's lying in the poll? All right, I asked, did you smash the like button? I got 21 votes, and we have 10 likes. So 11 of you literally took the time to vote and also lie, because 76% of you said you voted yes. You smashed the like button, and 24% of you said you were doing it now. So 11 of you literally came in here just to lie to me. That's messed up, man. That's messed up. That's messed up. Like, we should like, in this case, we should have 21 likes. We got 9. All right. So people have literally come in here and lied directly to my face. That's fucked up, dude. It's fucked up. We must stupid fan base world football. Listen, not all our fans are stupid, but it's just a loud minority. Okay, it's a loud minority. You know, because let me get to what, let me get to some of the things Ruben said. Let me look at this shit, because I think we need to digest it a little bit. He did the press conference, so Ruben said, I'm really confident we will be a strong team. We just need to recover all the players. Well, that is a big part of it, but listen, it's just shit timing. Shit timing. Interesting. I don't see the excuses tonight, said this one person. We knew we were losing 3 players to AFCON in the summer. Mano never plays. Mount has been on and off injured for 2 years, plus it's Wolves. Ultimately, those in charge have no clue how to run a top football club. Well, maybe they don't, but yeah. Saying Mano never plays is a fucking, again, like... But Mano never plays, so, you know, why fucking have him available? Because, I don't know, we have all the injuries and the players are out to AFCON, so since Mano never plays, you know, it's like, well, he'd make no difference. Come on, man. Mount has been on and off injured for 2 years. Yeah, he has. I mean, another good point here, like, I'm sick of you guys acting like if we had another manager on the sidelines, Sesko would finish his chances, Cunha would release the ball quicker, Fletcher would play a forward pass, and Dorgu would have been onside. Amorim isn't the best, and he could get sacked, but watch how quick the same narrative will happen with the next manager. Well, that's what I've been saying. The problem is many believe we generally would play like 2010 at Barca with today's squad under another manager. I think that's fucking hilarious, but it is true. That's what these people do believe. This attitude towards the manager has been the same for the last 12 years. That's my issue. It's also my issue. I'm sick of the cycle, and I'm willing to trust something for longer than 2 years for the first time in over a decade. That's also where I am as well. Yet, I'm the crazy one, they say, the toxic one, and the problem with this fan base, apologies, let's just keep sacking then. And that's sort of how I feel. I mean, listen, you people want to go and do this shit, I mean, go ahead, but I don't believe your way is the right way. I think you're going around in fucking circles. I think it's nonsense. I do. I don't think anything you say, there's anything for me to fucking back on that fact. I'm tired of the cycle. And, you know, these people come out, they want to attack and say, you know, this and that, crazy, toxic. But really, I mean, they're just projecting because that's what they are. So, I mean, I think my friend here has put it excellently put, probably put it into better words than I can put it. And sometimes that's the problem that I have, is that I can't accurately, you know, speak it out in that way. But that's exactly how I feel about the whole thing. You know, I'm sick of this thing that these people feel like we have another manager, and all of a sudden Sesko's finishing his chances and Cunha's releasing the ball quicker, and Dorgu would have been onside and not offside, and you know, somebody would have been fucking covering the man in the back post when they weren't covering the man in the back post. Like, we're not saying Amorim is a fucking world-class genius. Nobody's saying that. But, like, you know, these people act like we sack him, and who knows who we even get. But, you know, they literally say and act like we sack this guy, and we go and hire any fucking manager, and all of a sudden we turn into 2010 prime Barcelona. And it's just like, bro, there's no way you can ever fucking convince me of that, because it is so out there that I can say with a straight face, you're fucking wrong. You are 110% wrong. Wrong. Like, it's not, it's because it's not even realistic. It's not realistic. The attitude towards the manager has been the same for the last 12 years, and it's fucking annoying. And we're going to keep doing the same thing. So, you know, the only difference is some of them won't do it to the manager because they either, like, are a fanboy of the manager, right? You know, or they like the formation or some shit like that. So when that specific manager comes in, those guys won't turn their back on that specific guy. You know, they will make all the fucking excuses. They will make up all the nonsense the opposite way of how they're doing it now for Ruben. They'll do it the opposite way to protect their guy because he plays the certain formation that they like. You know, he plays a 4-3-3 and they love 4-3-3s and they believe it's the best, or, you know, whatever the fuck it is. Like, or they just like have some weird obsession with them. I mean, I don't really give a fuck about any, like, I don't care about managers. Like, I don't have a favorite of a manager. You know what I mean? There's no manager out there right now that I look at and I say, oh man, I would love for this guy to come here. Like, he's my favorite manager right now. I don't have any of them. I don't care. They're all managers at another football club. I don't fucking care. My favorite manager is Sir Alex Ferguson. Nobody's ever going to fucking replace that guy, and nobody's going to be better than him. Okay? And the only one that will be good enough for me is whoever comes here and can do a job for us. Other than that, I don't care. You know, I don't care who is here. I don't have a personal preference towards any of them. None of them are my favorite. None of them, I don't have any feelings towards any of them, you know. But these people out there, again, these ones that come and tell me, Glasner, because he'll play a 4-4-2 and will definitely win with the 4-4-2. And Glasner is brilliant guy. Like, I don't have any affection to Glasner. I don't give a fuck about Glasner. He's the manager of Crystal Palace. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Because when he comes to United, it's going to be a different story. All right? I don't give a shit about Eddie Howe. I don't care about fucking Areola. I don't care about fucking... I don't care about fucking, what's his name? I don't care about Nagelsmann. I don't care about the guy at Tuchel. I don't give a fuck about Tuchel. I don't care about any of them. I don't care. I don't have any affection. I don't think any of them are amazing. Nobody can really impress me. Okay? It's very hard to impress me because I've been spoiled by Sir Alex Ferguson. So these guys, I look at them and I'm like, you're not fucking really that special, are you? You're not. You're not special. You're not special. You'll never be special to me because you'll never be able to do what he did, and he's special. So, you know, but these people out here, these people, yeah, they look at them like some sort of god. Like, they're like, dude, like, this guy walks in and all of a sudden United is going to be the fucking greatest thing we've ever seen in our lives. This guy's going to walk in, all of a sudden the players are going to be 3 times better than they've ever been, and they're going to turn into fucking amazing things, and, you know, all the shit that with the Glazers is just going to magically disappear. The fucking fact that we have debt and we're in a fucked financial situation is going to disappear. They're not going to be restricted by the players that we have. We're not going to have issues trying to move players on and getting new players in. It's just, all we need is Glasner. All we need is Eddie Howe or Areola. And he's going to walk in and he's going to turn everything into fucking amazingness. And that's it. As soon as they just walk into Manchester United, it's going to be like the greatest thing you've ever seen. The greatest thing you've ever seen in your life. The football is going to be so scintillating, your fucking eyeballs are going to melt out of your eyes because it's going to be the fucking most amazing thing you've ever seen. It's going to be better than Fergie and fucking Klopp and Guardiola mixed together into one fucking giant thing. And it's going to be the greatest thing you've ever seen in your life, dude. It's going to be so amazing that, you know, I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say it because it's not family friendly. But I mean, you get the point that I'm trying to say. It's horrible. I've got the sniffles and the giggles. That's not good. I've learned a few American words today. Don't blow smoke on my ass. Well, that's more than that's more of a phrase. Yeah. Listen, you'll learn a couple from me. For sure. You'll learn a couple from me. Things they come up with. Bournemouth manager, Crystal Palace manager. Listen, I'm not saying that like Ruben is the guy that's gonna be the one to do it. I've never made that claim. I've never said this whole time, even when I defend him, or I say that he shouldn't get sacked, I have never said that it's because I believe that he is going to make us Premier League champions or Champions League champions. I've never said he's the second coming of Sir Alex. I don't believe that. I don't think we'll ever see another Sir Alex. I think anybody that tries to compare anybody to Sir Alex is a fucking fool, and you should not do that because we'll never see it. And if we do see it, it'll take fucking 80 years or something, you know? And it'll be some other guy, and he'll do a little bit less, or he'll be even more special, which I find extremely hard, but there tends to be something that happens, you know? I think the people that watched Pele and Maradona once upon a time, you know, said we'll never see anything fucking better. And then I think we got Cristiano and Messi, and I think people look at that and say we'll never get anything better. And I think, you know, sometime later, maybe not, maybe that was it. There's no guarantee, but maybe, you know, some 40, 50 years later, maybe some, you know, two other new stars are born. Okay. But these guys, like, again, it's just like, this is the problem I have, okay? So unless people can literally, like, provide some sort of details, which they don't seem to do, they just seem to say words. Like, they're not even words, you know? It's just like, again, it's toxic or gaslight. Or, you know, it's like a fucking, you know, what are you, a superhero from, like, the Avengers or some shit? You got a catchphrase? Like, you know, what is this? Where is the actual discussion? Where is the actual, like, give me some details, man. Give me some details. Ruben said on the performance, it wasn't perfect, but we were in control of the game. I just fucking agree. And losing 2 points is really frustrating. Well, that obviously. But no, I mean, yeah, I think he's fucking wrong about that. I think when he looks back about that, and he might just be saying these things as well. You know, I don't know if he truly believes that. But it definitely wasn't perfect. It was definitely garbage. Today was garbage. And it was definitely, I mean, I wouldn't even use perfect to say it wasn't perfect. I would say it wasn't good. You know, I think using perfect makes it sound better than it was. You know, so no. But, and I don't think, like, to a certain degree, were we in control of the game? I mean, if you look at the fucking possession stat, it'll tell you we had more possession, probably. I don't even know. I'm just taking a shot in the dark here because I don't even know the possession stat. But if you look at the possession stat for the game, what's it going to say? We had like 54% possession or something like that. So we were in control of the game, but no, we weren't. Like, there was so many large parts of the game that, like, we weren't. And also, again, like, you're going to tell me we were controlling the game. I totally disagree. That second half, we had more possession because that's what they fucking wanted. Like, they were happy that they got a goal right before halftime. And quite obviously, like, the point away from home at Old Trafford is like fucking 7 points to them at this point. Okay? So they were always gonna not come out and push up like they were doing in the first half, because why would you take the risk to give up the point when the point is like 1 point to them is like fucking gold right now? Okay? So yeah, like, the second half, we had more possession, we had more control, but because they stopped trying to, the game plan was to not allow us to score. So when the game plan is to not allow us to score, you're going to secede possession. You're going to secede attacking intent. So that's where I disagree. I think he's wrong, totally on that. And honestly, I hope he's literally just saying that just to say it, because he has to make a public comment. That's what I would like to believe. Because if he honestly believes that, well, then that's fucking concerning. But I find that hard to believe that he actually believes that. Because I think there's no way you can believe that, because I think somebody that even doesn't know the sport, if they just watch the game, they probably they would also be like, they wouldn't say that. So, um, Ruben was asked if he is lacking depths in the squad. He said, "We are in one situation where there's a lot of players out at the same time. We just need to recover our players. The players from AFCON to return. The fluidity is going to be different." Well, I do believe that. The problem is, or his problem is, and the problem is that, well, we played fucking Wolves and we were home and we needed to get 3 points. Now, I understand it's a bit of an issue when you have players on the pitch and that is your senior players and a lot of them are playing like shit, and then you don't have any further depth to really change the game, okay? And you have a less of a guarantee because you got the youth guys, okay? And the youth guys are a shot in the dark. They're either going to come on and do some fucking amazing, crazy shit like we've seen sometimes happen, or they come out and they're pretty much basically just average, or they struggle, you know? So it's really a shot in the dark with them. The problem is that you need to get the points till they come back. So, you know, while I do agree that when they do come back, I think we will be much better, you can't drop the points in between because that's going to hurt later down the line. You know, and again, we missed an opportunity to go fifth. We could have went 2 points above Chelsea today. So, you know, and this was one of these games that we definitely was time to take advantage, and we didn't take advantage. We got one coming up against Leeds. That's probably the toughest out of the three. And then we're playing Burnley. These were games that we expected, let's get fucking 9 points out of them. Now the best that we can get is 7. All right? If we get that. You know, and it could definitely be worse. We could definitely end up getting, you know, fucking, I don't know, like 4 out of 9. We can end up with 3 out of 9 or something, you know. So, which is terrible, because this is where you pick up the easy points. Because when we go back, I mean, listen, after those 3 games, you know, we got City coming up. That's fucking difficult. Then we have to play Arsenal again not too long after. So the difficult matches are going to come back as well. And, you know, those are even harder because, again, we're talking about we don't have the level. Well, you know, those are going to be difficult matches. We might actually, you know, fairly outrightly lose those fucking games. So it just constantly seems like we're always at like one setback after another setback, you know? It's just like if we're not, you know, we lose the players to AFCON, we get injured, we get these fucking injuries. Now we're just like a depleted squad. You know, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, and this is during a period of when like we had easier matches, and we could have really gotten like a nice gain and a bunch of points and gotten over the line and shit like that. And we're not doing it, and we're missing all these players. The players are going to come back. We start playing, you know, higher quality, better teams, and then, you know, we might struggle against their, you know, everything is just like, we're constantly always in some sort of a fucked situation. Nothing ever seems to really be able to go our way. Not once. We you know, I think, I don't know, we seem to have like the opposite of luck. We have like anti-luck, where we're just constantly getting in these situations where somehow we managed to get fucked, and we fucked things up, you know, instead of it going the other way, how it used to go, where like it wouldn't be looking good, and somehow we would manage, you know, find a way to come out on the other side. Now it's like the opposite. We get into a situation where like things look good, and there's hope, and then all of a sudden some shit happens, whether it's a decision we make or just some bullshit happens, and we end up in a situation where we like find ourselves in a way to fuck it all up. And I don't know why this happens at this football club. It's been happening for so long nowadays. So Amorim on the midfield too. He said, when you line up Casemiro and Ugarte, you know it's different from Kobe Mainoo, Mason Mount, or Bruno Fernandes. That's normal. Well, that's what I was saying the whole time. Amorim was asked on switching back to 3-4-2-1 at kickoff. He said, we knew that they will play with the 5. They will use the width, and today was just to do that, and then sometimes building up with Dorgu, open or close with Luke Shaw doing the opposite. So, I mean, he did go into a 3-4-2-1. I mean, it was a bit fucking confusing, to be honest. I couldn't really tell the shape, man. Lisandro said, I think we have 2 ways. One is to hide behind excuses, or take big responsibility and show who we are in the next match and take the 3 points. Yeah. Well, I know you hold that, but unfortunately, we don't have a bunch of players with your mentality and your attitude, Lisandro, and that's a problem, you know? It's a problem. And Amorim was asked on subbing Xerxes off. He said, we were struggling with the midfielders, and sometimes you can attack better with less strikers. What? Wait, hold on. I have to read that again. We were struggling with their midfielders, and sometimes you can attack better with less strikers. We played with 3 strikers. Sometimes that's not the best thing to attack well. We were running around trying to get a hold of the ball. Now listen, I agree on that part in terms of like we were struggling with the midfield. We couldn't get the fucking ball back no matter what we were doing. They had way too much possession at too many times, and we were not doing well in terms of the pressing. Like when they were getting the ball, we were not winning the ball back. We were not winning the ball back. They were able to get up the field. They were able to hold the ball in our half for way longer than they are supposed to. And we were getting cut out on a lot of counterattacking situations because we're not able to catch them in the press. We're not able to take the ball from them. So I get that, and I get what he's trying to say. Some people will probably disagree, but there is a certain aspect that, like, listen, if the midfield is the engine and the midfield is struggling and the midfield can't get the ball and the midfield can't create attacks, then what's the point of having a bunch of fucking attackers on the pitch if you're not going to be able to, because you need the midfield to create for the attack. If you just have a bunch of attacking guys just fucking standing around and you're not winning the ball back and you don't have the ball, what's the point of having all the attackers on? So I kind of get what he's trying to say in that, like, you know, he was trying to get the ball back more so we could have more of the possession. So that way you would think, like, if you have more of the ball, you should have more opportunities to at least create, which should lead to more chances and then hopefully more goals. But again, I think sometimes the way he says things doesn't come off great, because when he says something like, we are struggling with their midfielders and sometimes you can attack better with less strikers, like when he says that on face value, that doesn't sound fucking good at all. It sounds kind of stupid, but you need to like break it down a bit in how that would actually play out. Lisandro said, we can't be in our stadium and losing points like that. It's frustrating. We have to win. If we want to be to be among the best, this is the kind of match where we can't drop points. We have to use this anger for the next match. I mean, 100%, but you know, too little, too late, I guess. On that, oh shit. Fox says, I have no solutions. We deserve to lose. Wolves deserve to win, says I Get Up. I Get Up 44 says, new to the channel. I've been Amorim all the way, but drawing with the team that had 2 points halfway through a season is unacceptable. We were Man United, set some standards. Listen, I get it. I get it. Okay, I get it. Again, I just don't. I have an issue with a certain section of the fan base that wants to make a promise to me that if we sack this guy, the grass is definitely 100% going to be green on the other side, and that we're definitely going to get top 4. I don't believe them. And I don't believe them for a good reason, because they told me the same thing with Eric Ten Hag, and they told me the same thing if we get rid of fucking Rashford, and they told me Anthony Martial is a problem, and they told me, you know, whoever and whatever. Okay, they do this all the time, so I don't believe these people. All right, and my personal opinion is just that I believe, like, he may fail, he may succeed. We've missed a bunch of opportunities. The first season was very bad. I don't put it all down to him. I think there's a balance there. But these people just say, well, 15th, Tottenham, Grimsby. You know, it's just like, cool. Cool. Like, what do you want me to say back to you? So, like, you know, I look at it as we've missed opportunities. It could be better. It has to be better. And ultimately, he's got to finish in a European spot. Okay? That's the ultimate thing. I'm willing to sit here and see how it goes. And if it gets to a point in the season where that's not possible anymore because we fucked it up, well, then it's game over. Okay? And then we move from there. But I'm not one of these guys that's saying, you know, I'm not accepting this, but I'm not this person that comes out and says, like, you know, we were happy we won against Newcastle, and none of these guys were saying sack Ruben, because really you can't. I mean, listen, I would kind of respect it if they did it. If you say sack Ruben and you don't like Ruben, you should say sack Ruben when we win against Newcastle. Okay, don't go hiding and say nothing. Because it's all about appearances for these people. These people, they're like, if I come out and say Ruben when he wins, I'll look stupid, so I can't say it. But, like, if you truly believe he should be sacked and you don't like him, you should be saying it no matter what the result is. Okay? But they only say it when we have a bad result. They don't say it when we win. All right? They go into hiding. I have a problem with that. All right? I have a problem with that. So, you know, we're in this position. I'm willing to let it play out. I don't believe when they tell me that we sacked this guy and we're guaranteed top 4. I don't believe them. I'm not going to listen to them. I don't accept that. We got a guy here. He's either going to make it or he's not going to make it. Okay? I'm willing to see it out. It's just how I am. I'm willing to see it out. If it fails, it fails. And we got to move on. Because for me, there's no guarantee if we sack him now that it's going to work out well. It could get worse. Could get better, but it could get worse. And then we also don't know sort of how the ending of this season would have went, because nobody really knows. You know, you could say that you truly believe that he's not going to get the job done. Okay, fine. You know, I can accept that. Or you can believe that he is going to do it. But I would like to see it play out, because sometimes shit happens in life that, you know, we think one way and the opposite happens. So I would like to just see so that we know, you know. He got all the opportunities. He had all the things happen. This is what happened. This is how the season went. This is where we finished. And that's it. And then, you know, we get the writing, the end to it. Buck says we deserved to lose. Lemons made a triple save. Listen, I didn't even talk about that. But this save by Lemons, that last save, that save where he saved it and then he used his other hand and he swatted it away was fucking amazing, man. I swear. It was amazing. To have that, and that's what I talk about in IQ and shit, like, to have that reactions, to think of that at that moment, and then also execute it is brilliant, okay? So for me, because all the players were absolute shit, for me, Lemons, and they weren't all absolute shit, but you know what I mean. Majority were garbage, okay? To me, I think Lemons got to be the man of the match today. Um, listen, I think Heaven had some good moments. He probably was like second best for me. He had some, he had a couple things there that, slight mistakes, whatever, or things that he could have done better. But I think a majority of the players, nobody really did well, to a certain extent. So, even if Heaven had some things that, maybe wasn't great, I think the good things that he did was pretty impactful, pretty powerful. I mean, the first goal came because of him, yeah, and he started that whole thing. Um, so some of Amorim's comments makes him seem quite dim. Yeah, I think the problem is that English isn't his first language, and so I think he knows a certain level of English, and when he speaks, it doesn't come out maybe as the most intelligent. I think like if he can speak English in the level that he speaks Portuguese, it would probably come out sounding a lot better. And that's a bit of a problem. But I mean, listen, for a guy that's never had to really speak English, because I mean, he's Portuguese. He lived in Portugal his whole life. He's played he played in Portuguese football. Like he doesn't really need to speak fucking English, up until this moment, because he's come here. And I think he did well to, first of all, for him to even know the English that he had. And then obviously I think he took English language courses once he was like, getting the United job. And I think even his English has gotten better, since last year in November. Like I think it's improved. It's not massive, but it's definitely better than when he first started. But I do think that's a problem. But like, again, like I hate the fucking guy for that. Like it's not his first language. Like, bro, I mean, people should know that and be like, listen, the guy might say some things that sound a bit strange or doesn't come off well, but like, it's not his fucking first language. Like, he's doing the best he can. The fact that he can even speak it pretty well is good enough for me, Like, Lucky says it was an even game. Wolves had 9 players out as well, like 5, 6 first team starters. They did. That's true. Bach says we're not ready for Champions League football. We are not. We can barely survive playing 1 game a week, Premier League football only. Yeah, we're probably not. But the thing that would maybe come with the Champions League football is the money, extra money. And again, if we're doing proper things and you're getting extra money, well, we should be then getting extra players, or maybe better players, even better players. But I would say extra players, or more players than maybe we would get, if you're in Europa, or if you're in, not in Europe at all. So maybe it would balance a little bit better for us. But I don't know. The Champions League could be a little bit nicer to us because the scheduling is a bit better. I think to be in Europa and to be sort of a team in transition, I think it actually makes it harder. The scheduling is quite fucked. Like, it's such a short turnaround. And it's sort of a gruesome thing. So yes, like the competition in Champions League is harder, and it's more difficult, and maybe we get killed, but there's also negatives to not being in it as well. So I don't know, how does it balance itself out on the scale. It's a bit hard. We probably need Conference League football, playing games against KUPS, Shamrock Rovers. Jesus, will be winnable games, gets the confidence up of winning. Oh boy, I don't really want to see that though. I don't want to do that. I don't even want the banter about it, man. I think it's embarrassing. I like I think it's actually more embarrassing to be in Conference League than to not be in Europe. Yeah, but I think it's more embarrassing, to be quite honest. Do you think players understand Amorim's instructions? Well, that might be a problem, box. I mean, listen, we got a couple guys that are Portuguese. I don't know how good their English are. We know Ruben. Ruben speaks. Yeah, Right, he's got assistant coach. Does that guy speak fucking English? I don't even know. You know? Did the other guy speak English? How well did he speak English? You know, it's not just Ruben that's doing the training. He's got the other guys there as well. So, I mean, it's a good question. I feel like I guess it depends on their background as well and like sort of their level of, like Casemiro and Bruno. Um, like they speak Portuguese. Delo speaks Portuguese. So, like, Ruben can tell them in Portuguese. He could probably tell them better than he can tell in English, and they can relay the message as well. But I guess it depends on, like, Ruben's English and then another player's comprehensiveness of English, depending on where they come from, and how good their English is. So it could be a bit of a problem as well. That is true. We're gonna sink even further with or without Amorim, in my opinion. Well, yeah, we will do so if we don't do like recruitment properly and you know those other things that I talked about. I mean, one way or another. Again, I'm not saying that this guy is the ultimate savior, but I just is like, you cannot sell me that nobody can sell me that we would be guaranteed. And this is what they try to tell everybody, like, guaranteed we will be better if he's gone. And it's just like, there's nothing that you can show to prove me. There's no proof that you can hand me. There's nothing that there is feasible for me to see that's a guarantee. Like, I'm not gonna buy that. Sorry, like, I'm not. Even if the Glazers stay or leave, we will still decline, in my opinion. It is what is at this stage now. No, I mean, listen, I think if the Glazers leave, obviously it depends who comes in for them, but I think that would change everything. But also, still, there's no actual guarantee that just because the Glazers leave, that things will then turn into a success. There's no guarantee. I mean, it depends who buys us. It depends who these people are. It depends, like, what the setup would be. How is the club then being run? All these things would factor in. On face value, you would say, well, Glazers are the worst owners. There can't be anybody worse, surely. But listen, there's always something worse. You just hope that it wouldn't happen, right? Or you feel like it's so unlikely that it's almost impossible. But, it could happen. But yeah, I think if the Glazers were to leave, I think that's the ultimate probably opportunity, because you would say, listen, it's a totally fresh start. Obviously, it depends who buys us and it depends what they do with us after. But if they leave, you're talking about whoever comes in, it has to be stinking rich. I would assume that they would have to buy us. Hopefully, it's not to make money out of us, and hopefully, it's something along the lines of, like the likes of City. Like, the guy had a shit ton of money. He bought it to make a name for himself. You know what I mean? He bought it to turn it into something amazing. So they could be like, look, I bought this football club and turned it into greatness because I'm great, and now we have greatness. Something like that. So it depends. Yes, Lucky, please. Please get a João Gomez, or Wharton, or something, please. Yeah, good point about the Champions League money would be worth it, for that alone. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's good and bad things like all over the place. So it's just about a balance. And again, it's kind of like the reason why I'm thinking about that is like, I feel like we had sort of a similar discussion in a different way where we were like, well, if we're not in Europe, we'll get more time on the training ground, which should be better for us. And that should improve the team and the players should play better. But we never really talked about like, or we never really thought about maybe some of the negatives in terms of like, since that point was brought up to me, it's sort of stuck in my head. It's like, well, you're playing one game a week, so there's less sort of a momentum. I think that's definitely a factor. Like, there's a factors on both sides. You probably less stress. Maybe you'll have less injuries. But then also, like, listen, if you're playing 2 to 3 games a week and you're hitting sort of a good, you have a good performance, it's probably a little bit easier to roll it over to the next game and keep momentum. When you're looking at sort of these other teams. So I think there's a lot of things you can make an argument either way. Like, we're playing less matches. We should be fresher. We should have less injuries. Compared to these other teams that are playing 2 to 3 times a week. But then you can also say, well, if they're winning 2 games in a row, they got a better momentum. They're keeping up with it, and it's rolling over into the other matches. They're keeping the confidence. They're keeping the feeling of the game. But we don't really get that aspect. So then it's about like, how do you weigh that up? How do you actually measure that? How do you measure like, what's better? Is it better to have more games so we keep the momentum? Does that have a bigger impact? Would that help us out better? And then we just have to deal with more injuries as it comes? Or, should it be better that we're playing less matches? We have less chance of a momentum roll because we have to wait like a whole week to pretty much play a game. But we should have more time on the training. But how does it actually balance out? I think that's quite difficult to weigh it. So, but yeah, listen, guys, we've been on here for long enough. It is really late and stuff like that. So, I appreciate everybody. I still don't know if I'm going to go live tomorrow. I'm thinking about it, but it's kind of got to make sense. So, I'm just trying to think. And if I could think real quick out loud. So, New Year's Eve, there's no football in terms of, there's AFCON and stuff, but there's no Premier League. This Premier League comes back on New Year's Day, and it is 2 matches at 8 p.m. And that's a Thursday. And then we have Friday, and there's no matches. And then, when are we playing again? On Sunday? Yeah, and then we have to play on Sunday, and that's a fucking early one for me. It's at 7:30 in the morning for me, which I hate those games. It's so ass to wake up and listen. I'm waking up at 7:30 in the morning. They better fucking win this one. You make me wake up that early. So, yeah, I think. Oh, I'm torn. I don't know if I should do the stream tomorrow at 3, which is 8 p.m. UK. I say 3 because 3 is my time. As you can see, the clock here, it's 7:38. I don't know if I should do the stream tomorrow at 8 p.m. or I should do the stream on New Year's Day. I guess, you know what? I won't make any promises. It'll be either tomorrow or New Year's Day. So I will just update everybody the way I could update you. If you're in the Discord, I'll update you in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you should get in the Discord. I keep telling these people to get in the Discord because it is just the best place for conversation and it's easiest for communication. So you should get in the Discord. But if you don't have Discord, if you don't know what Discord is, if you can't be bothered with Discord, listen, I don't really blame you, but it's not that difficult of a thing. What I will say is I will make a community post. I will make a community post that will go on the channel and it will tell you if we are going to do a stream tomorrow or on New Year's Day. So either one, either or. So other than that, everybody have a good night. If we don't see each other tomorrow, Happy New Year. And we'll see each other in 2020. What year are we in? 2027? 2026. We'll see each other in 2026. And I forgot what year it was. That's what United did to me. I forgot what year we were in. Yeah, if we don't stream tomorrow, then everybody have a happy New Year. Stay safe for New Year's Eve. Don't get too messed up. But have fun, enjoy yourselves, and be good. And we'll see each other in the new year in that case. So just in case if we don't see each other tomorrow. But I will definitely let you guys know tomorrow sort of early. Yeah, I guess it depends kind of what happens. You know, if we have some news, if there's some things to talk about, I feel like some of the journalists and a lot of people might take the day off tomorrow. And considering that there's Premier League on New Year's Day, there might be it might be more active on New Year's Day itself. Because obviously the celebrations is New Year's Eve. So, um, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Either today, I mean tomorrow, or Thursday. We'll see each other. Other than that, everybody take care. Be good. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Thank you for smashing the like button. Thank you to we are at 3,260 subscribers. So thank you to all the new people that have subscribed. I greatly appreciate you. Welcome to the community. I hope you guys get involved in the chat as we go forward. And welcome to the family. And let's go into 2026 straight up. We're gonna ride out, and we're gonna be killing it. So all the new people, shout out all the day ones that have been supporting from the very start and for the beginning, and that are here like literally every show. You guys are always here. If I do a 1 hour stream, you guys are here. If I do a 2 hour stream, you're here. If I do a 3 hour stream, you're here. If I do a 4 hour stream, you're here. So I always greatly appreciate that very, very much. Very, very appreciative. And yeah, shout out to all the new people that subscribed. We are I want to get to 3,500. So we're on our way there. We're a little bit away, yeah, but we are making progress little by little. It's kind of what I talk about. We're making progress little by little, right? It's not going to happen overnight. Maybe we could do it faster. But you know what? I take it. Listen, we're growing. Sometimes it's been real rough on this channel in terms of sometimes it's just slow days and you don't get a lot of views and it's not really active. And sometimes it explodes to a certain degree, right? So it's a grind, it's a hustle, but I enjoy it, and you guys make it enjoyable as well. So as long as you guys enjoy it and you continue to support, then I will always be here and I will never leave. Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys. Be good, stay safe, and we'll see each other either tomorrow or in 2 days. Okay, I'll let you guys know for sure. I promise. Other than that, take care. Have a good night. I'm sorry if I offended anybody for my rant or rave. And I hope everybody just stay safe, does well, and yeah, be good. Okay.